What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another video by yours truly. This is going to be an update to my previous video where I was talking about the contractual leaks for Zenless Zone 0 containing some real slimy details trying to run a monopoly on pretty much what a creator is allowed to accept in the realms of a sponsorship, and they're also trying to control what the viewer is able to see, obviously for their own personal agenda. They don't want anybody looking at anything other than hoyoverse games ultimately. But let's talk about what happened behind the scenes and why I'm following up with this video. And then I want to get into why you need to give Wuthering Waves a chance, whether you be a content creator or a player. It does boil down to a overall healthier environment for the community, the Gacha community, as gamers. And I will make that argument to the point where you can understand what I'm saying and why it makes sense that I'm saying it. Anyways, what essentially happened after I made that video, I tried to give hoyoverse the benefit of the doubt. And I said this is alleged because I hadn't seen anything that was concrete. But I did at least want to bring awareness to why that contract is garbage so that creators would know if it was true. Well, after I made that video, Tectone actually reached out to me and said, hey, Smack, I actually have this one of the sources that can provide you this evidence. Do you want to see? And I said, absolutely. Let me see that, because I am not the type of person who takes slander and defamation lightly. I understand the severe consequences it can lead to. So if I'm going to say something, if I'm going to get on the internet and outright say, oh, this is true and they're doing this for real, I need to be 100% positive, not 0.1% unsure, 100% positive. I said, I want to see the evidence. So he puts me in a group chat with that creator. The creator then shows me the same exact screenshot on Twitter that I saw. And he's like, is that good enough? And I said, no, that's not good enough. I need to see the whole goddamn contract. And I said, understand that the reason I'm being so meticulous with this situation is to save my own ass from defamation, because if this is not true and I get on the internet saying that it is true and start going off, well, then I'm risking my own ass, and I have a lot more to lose than to get on the internet for a little clout or just trying to slander a company for whatever agenda that I may have. I'm not that type of individual. I'm not these dumb fucks on the internet who protect companies just because they have a bias for them, nor am I the dumb fucks that slander a company because they have malicious intent for them. I am as true and as based as they are, and I only want to spit the facts. That's just who I am as an individual. I am literally honest to a goddamn fault. With that being said, I got into an actual personal call with this anonymous creator. He's anonymous because I am protecting his rights to tell that truth himself. But I also didn't know at the time whether he signed the contract already, because then that can lead to legal consequences for himself. Regardless of whether you want to believe this or not, guess what? He himself said he's going to make a video about it tomorrow and show and give his own take on the situation. Because, you know, you got the Tectone and Gacha Smack haters, dumb fucks who just hate. Yeah, you know what? I get it. All right, we always shit on them all the time. It is what it is, you know, charge it to the game. But one thing you can't call me is a liar. I don't lie about shit. I've never given y'all a reason to lie about shit. Anyways, not getting off of it, man. ADHD. I talked to this guy. He showed me all of the contract, the full length of it. And in this contract, it said everything that they showed on Twitter, word for word. Not only did it show that, though, I saw the other details, and there was no explicit clarity to what you're going to get paid. It said that they get paid based off of the views, the 1000 CPM, which is standard for ad revenue on YouTube, but it didn't actually specify it. Now, let me tell you, as somebody who's already in this and doing it for quite a bit now, the first thing that needs to be clear is how much you're getting paid. If it's not, that's already ass cheek chronicles. And just to explain that briefly, the reason it's a problem with the money being vague is because that gives them the freedom and wiggle room to change the number based on how the business is performing. When if there's a crystal clear number, you know that number is always going to be met regardless of what's going on, so long as you are in that contractual agreement. That is how business should be done with regards to you being paid. You know exactly what you're getting paid every time. But to move on to the most like ridiculous part, it's we have full discretion to decide what sponsorships you can and cannot accept. That is horrible and should not be in any contract with regards to content creation and content creators doing business with these gaming companies. That is none of their damn business. The only thing they need to be worrying about is the confidentiality of their game and whether you're promoting their game in a positive light or a bad light. And then, of course, the money agreement. But trying to like overstep the boundary and say, oh, we're also going to decide what games you can cover. I don't know what you think this is, but this non-compete clause shit does not apply to our business. We do not work for you. And I'm going to go into the non-clause in the specifics of that, because honestly, that really only applies if you were an employee that worked for them and then you just left the establishment or the corporation, and now you're like about to open up business right next to the street, like right across the street, and start doing business that they are doing as well. This is a non-compete clause. Like, right, you're not about to like quit working for us, go open up an establishment right next door, and then start running your business and profiting off things you've learned from us. We're going to get into that in the specifics of it. I actually am very familiar with that because the personal training department at Lifetime Fitness was the exact same thing. After I quit Lifetime Fitness, I had a non-compete clause where I could not personal train clients within I think it was a 5-mile radius of the Lifetime Fitness establishment, because hell, I was just there for a bunch of years, taking up clients and you know, learning the business. So non-compete clauses do have a degree of merit to them, and they're very fair in business and very common in business practices. However, they did just pass a law in April pretty much obliterating on all non-compete clauses over here in America, which again, I said, we're going to get into that in a bit. I want to boil back down though to why it's a bad thing to give them that autonomy, because you can give it to them if you sign the damn contract, which is why nobody should sign the contract, because if nobody signs it, they have to change it and still do business with you. That's the power of leverage. But if everybody signs it, well, guess what? You just gave them the right, which is the dumbest shit you can possibly do, because they still have to do business with you. Anyways, why is it bad? Because they're trying to run a monopoly on the gacha genre at the expense of the content creators' pay, and also control the narrative on what the player is seeing in front of them. They want you to only see Hoyo games, even if there's a game out there that you might like more. They don't want you seeing none of that. And it's at the expense of the content creators' pay and the freedom of what the viewer should be able to watch. This is just garbage from all fronts. I'll admit, good business on their end to try to eliminate all competition, because at the end of the day, these companies are competing with each other, and if they had it their way, they'd burn every other company around them straight to the goddamn ground. This isn't just a hoyoverse thing. I'm sure if any of them had this privilege, they'd probably try and do the same thing. But I want to be clear here. None of them should have the fucking autonomy to do this. And that's why it's important that you speak up on this and call this shit out. But I do want to talk about is there a world where this makes sense? The only world where it makes sense is if the creator is getting a handsome bag, a good looking bag, a badass bag from Hoyoverse to do this. But here's the kicker. They are known for paying way less on their sponsorships than everybody else. So you're going to tie yourself down to a company that says you can't talk about any other games, and the pay's not even good. The pay is worse than what everybody else pays. And now you're doing way more work for this company, getting paid less, and your pockets are getting ran, basically. You know, obviously you're getting some kind of pay, but it's horrible, okay? Because at the end of the day, you can still do the business with them without this garbage condition put in there. And I want to continue on this topic, because here's the other thing. Hoyoverse has been top of the charts in revenue for like the past 3 years in the gacha genre. They have the biggest exposure and the biggest spotlight. Their games have all the publicity they need to continue to flourish and succeed. So imagine these 1-inch penis pencil dick nerds being so insecure as to try and gatekeep what games you can cover to put food on the table for your families and control the narrative of your viewers and what they're able to see, just because they're gonna get a little bit of competition. And that's the next topic I want to dive into. Competition is healthy for the genre, period. When we talk about these gacha games getting spotlight, the most toxic environment is one company having all the exposure, all the clout, all the spotlight, all the success. Because what this does is this creates, one, it creates a monopoly. Two, it creates an environment where they are not incentivized to care about their creators or care about the community that's consuming their game, since their game is pretty much the only thing that people are seeing. And it creates this narrative of, oh, well, this is the only company that makes good games. Nobody else makes good games. Like, I want you guys to think how much healthier the gacha genre would be if there were several or 8, 9, 10 different gacha games with the same level of a clout and exposure and spotlight as Hoyoverse. Now, from a content creator standpoint, they all have to fight to earn your business, to earn your marketing, and they have to pay you better, and they have to come back to you for business. And all of them are hungry, right? When somebody's hungry, they have to work harder. They have to produce better content because they're hungry for that #1 spot. If the #1 spot is not hungry, they have no incentivization to take care of you. In fact, you need them more than they need you because they know you're going to cover their game because it's on top, which means they're going to pay you less, which is what they've been doing, which means they're not going to give the product that they can give. They can milk that shit and still succeed. But when there's several freaking people competing, now you have to sit up. You're back here. Well, now I got to sit up and start playing now. I got to get serious. Holy shit, because we might get fried over here. That is a healthy environment for the community and the creators. Most importantly, I care about the creators. I care about the community. I don't give a fuck about these companies because I know exactly what their agendas are. All they care about is this right here. All right. I care about playing good games. I care about passion, and I care about making money, but not at the expense of shitting on somebody else or like, you know, obliterating somebody's livelihood. I'm not for that. So it's like when you have people who like try to contest you when you're trying to speak up on these situations, it just screams like you're a fucking idiot. Now, the next thing I want to go over, which huge shout out to my agent for putting me on Perplexity. This website is fire. I remember I had a couple of morons telling me that this was invalid because it's an AI. One, AI is way smarter than you're goofy. That's whoever said that. Two, it actually sources its shit, unlike a number of people. So you can come here and look at this Texas non-compete law, a legitimate source. Right? Employment law. You can go and look at the sources that it's finding its information from. It's not pulling it out of its ass, which is important. Non-compete clause. Let's go ahead and go over it. Based on the search result provided, the legality of non-compete clauses has significantly changed with the Federal Trade Commission. Final rule issued on April 23rd, 2024. This was very, very recent. My girl actually told me about this, which is why it prompted me to search it up because I had no idea that they changed the legalities of non-compete clause. It's crazy. The FTC's final rule broadly bans almost all non-compete clauses for workers in the United States with very limited exceptions. And I assure you, this garbage that we just been covering does not fall under those very limited exceptions. This overrides previous state laws that allowed non-competes under certain circumstances. The rule defines a non-compete clause broadly as any term that prohibits, penalizes, or functions to prevent a worker from seeking or accepting work with another employer or operating a business after their employment ends. Most importantly, after their employment ends. After your employment ends. First, you need to be employed by the company first and foremost, and then it has to be after you try to get business after you no longer work with them. This is why that shit is also garbage. It's like pulling some shit out of your ass. Like, bro, what? And the reason I bring this up, guys, I'm telling you, you have these dumb fucks who have confirmation biases who try to find any excuse to defend this egregious garbage in this contract. So I have to go and say, let me go ahead and shut that argument down before they even try to make it. It's a non-compete clause. They do that. That's in common business practice. Rest my case. This could potentially cover non-disclosure agreements. This can cover NDAs. That's insane. And non-solicitation agreements if they are overly broad, right? There are limited exceptions for non-competes entered into prior to the effective date involving senior executives who are in policymaking role and earn over $151,000 annually. I don't really care about this, but check this out. The rule applies retroactively. Yep, backtrack, bro. Holy back reading. Invalidating existing non-compete agreements except for those covered by the limited exceptions. Now, again, those limited exceptions, when I tell you it's incredibly extreme and niche scenarios, it is. It does not apply to the shit we're talking about here. Anyways, now that we have that out the way, I want to talk to you guys and I want to end this video off with why you should give Wuthering Waves a chance. This ain't got nothing to do with me dick riding no Wuthering Waves. I told you, I dick ride none of these companies. I give Wuthering Waves a fair chance because they do have hungry developers that are being attentive and are trying to actively improve their game and provide some good, healthy competition for the gacha genre. So this is not no damn sponsorship or anything. This is just me keeping a buck. You need to give Wuthering Waves a try for one very important reason. It's to create a healthy environment for these companies to constantly challenge each other to better their product, period. If there's no competition, it's what I said before. There's no incentivization for them to better their product, for them to do business with content creators. And let me tell you something, people who say they don't give a fuck about content creators, this is a content creator problem. As I told you, you should not be okay with somebody trying to control what you're able to see and what you're able to not see. That's already garbage. But two, the content creators educate the community. They create excitement in terms of all the updates that are coming out. If you were to obliterate every single content creator from the platform, these games would fucking die within the month, maybe even 2 months tops. So content creators are very important. If they're not being taken care of, that is an absolute problem. Whether you see that or not, or intelligent enough to understand it, that's your fucking issue. But let me tell you something. If creators ain't getting taken care of, that's a problem. We are the ultimate conduit to marketing these video games and them getting their eyes, with maximum exposure. But not getting off topic, Wuthering Waves, you need to give it a chance. Give it the spotlight it deserves. I'm not telling you to play the game permanently. Just give it a chance, give it the spotlight it deserves so it can actually have everything that it needs to do what they've been working so hard to try and bring us, right? It's all on them from there, right? We give you the spotlight. If you got a banger game, now everybody knows and everybody plays it, and now we have a healthy environment. But if your game's booty cheeks, well, hey, that's on you. At least we gave that game a fair chance as gamers who are passionate about playing new video games. And this shouldn't just be a try Wuthering Waves. This should be a try Azir Promilia, try Project Mugen, try any gacha game that is coming out and up and coming, because we need more gacha games to be hitting the top of those revenue charts apart from hoyoverse. I'm telling you right now, the way they treat their content creators, it's trash when you compare it to how everybody else is doing. Like AFK Journey, oh my God, that was one hell of a wake-up call with regards to how a company should be treating their content creators. It was one hell of a wake-up call. And the hoyoverse don't do that shit at all. And they make the most money, which is wild. Like they blow everything else out of the water. It's insane. So try Wuthering Waves, try future games that come out, and give them a spotlight, give them a chance to show off what they've worked so hard for. They are hungry developers, which means they're going to treat the community better, listen to the community more, and overall create a healthy environment. And that is my argument. I'm going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the flip side.